to our 50th anniversary celebration. This is Selena Fox, and we are coming to you live from the Circle Sanctuary Temple Room at Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve in southwestern Wisconsin, USA. We have a whole room full of Circle Sanctuary community members. You want to say hi? Hi! And starting us off with some music as we gather in is one of our community bards. We do a monthly full moon circle, and you might know Chris, also known as the roaming gnome, who not only plays flute, helps with healing, circle crafting, but who also does our tech. So I invite Chris to start our celebration with some music. Well, thank you. Yay. Now I'm in touch with Steve, who's helping us with tech, and I'm hoping that it is showing up on the YouTube channel. You know, we try new things every event, and this is a new thing. So I'm wondering, those of you out there in YouTube land, if you are seeing this, please let us know in the live chat. And if for some reason it's not working, we will take some time and try to make it work. And I'm wondering if my partner might check his phone to see if we show up on the YouTube channel. So I will continue to see what we are able to do here. Eventually, we hope we'll get a tech team and some built-in tech that will make it easy for us to be able to share things. So I am wondering, and Steve is getting back to me. Oh, okay, he has now set this to public. Well, welcome to Circle Sanctuary's 50th anniversary celebration, live from Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve, which is located in southwestern Wisconsin, USA. I celebrate Circle and its origins back in 1974. I had just turned 25, and it came to me to create a convergence of people who celebrate nature in sacred ways, not only to connect with each other, but the sacred and the greater circle of nature of which we are all part. I had no idea, as I was at that early part of my life, that I'd be doing a anniversary celebration right after I've turned 75 years old. So I want to give thanks to everybody that is here at the Circle Sanctuary 2024 Samhain Festival as a whole, and all of you that are here in the room and part of this, and to all of you that are tuning in literally from around the world. So happy Samhain! And we are global, so happy Beltane, because we not only have community members that are in the Northern Hemisphere, but those who are in the Southern Hemisphere. So I'd like to invite my spiritual brother, longtime community member and part of the Circle Sanctuary Board, to come forth, Chip, and share some thoughts. We come from many paths, many cultures, many ancestries, and Chip and I both celebrate our ancestries from Europe, but also Native America.
Well, greetings, everyone. This is a remarkable thing. Here we are, the 50th anniversary, and as Selena said, I find it amazing that we're reflecting back on this time, so many decades of work and joy and community and this loving aspect of who we all are and our various pagan paths and what have you. And yes, I draw on my ancestry, Native Delaware, Micmac, Cherokee, Mediterranean ancestry, Turkish ancestry, British Isles, Scandinavia, all across the globe. And it seems to me that all of those things are reflected in every single person that I'm looking at here in the room. There are probably 40 or 50 people here in the room with us now here at Circle Sanctuary, celebrating the 50th. And I've been honored and blessed because of the acceptance and the love and the sharing that we have with our beliefs, how we've traveled to get to this place today. And the idea as well, so importantly, that we are a legacy organization. We are going to be traveling this road, all of us collectively, for decades and decades and decades. And what an honor and a blessing to be with Selena here today. And I just thank you so much. So you want to tell stories, or what shall we?
Well, you know, we help preserve sacred sites.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you would just share a little bit about the interreligious, multicultural work to preserve ancient mounds.
Yes, absolutely. In my work, I had been a historian, anthropologist, regulatory attorney for the state of Wisconsin, and my primary job was protecting, preserving historic properties, cultural resources, sacred sites, and very importantly, human burial sites. And prior to my retirement, almost 6 years ago, I had been very, very involved with Native American mounds in the state of Wisconsin and their protection, and had worked for a long time implementing laws and administrative code provisions that were very strong to help protect those sites, because in the state of Wisconsin, not all burial sites were protected in the same way. That is to say, traditional so-called Euro-American burial sites, cemeteries and what have you were fully protected by law, and yet other burial sites, those of Native peoples and people with different traditions, were not so protected. And we worked very, very hard the last 10 years that I was at the Historical Society to put in place measures to ensure that those sites would all be protected fully to the same extent. And we, as a part of that process, the laws were challenged because there had been some work done proposing to destroy some Native American mounds. And we took a case over the course of 7 or 8 years to the state Supreme Court, where our laws were challenged, yet ultimately were upheld, and we were vindicated. And I'm so grateful and proud to have been a part of that, to preserve and protect all of our burial sites, all of our historical properties across the state. And I think that's one of the amazing things in Wisconsin, that we recognize these properties and these sites and the spiritual value and nature of these things. And as I say, I was honored to be a part of that, so thank you.
Well, and another thing that we do as part of the Circle Sanctuary community is have a national pagan cemetery, and one of the first green cemeteries in North America. We began in 1995. Why then? We've been on the land since 1983. That's when we paid off the land. We wanted to make sure we had title to the land before human remains were being put on the land. And we continue to grow and evolve Circle Cemetery. We began with the scattering and burial of cremains, but in 2010, we expanded the cemetery to 20 acres out of the 200 that we have, so we could do full body burials. And a green burial is basically an ancient burial practice of an unembalmed body in a biodegradable container returning to the earth. And this is an option here at Circle Cemetery to do full body burial, to have ashes scattered in our restored prairie, or ashes buried. And I'm so thankful for Chip helping us with that evolution of our cemetery in 2010. So thank you, Chip.
Well, thank you. Thank you. In the course of our evolution over the decades, that was something that we all knew we deeply wanted, because all our traditions are different. You know, people can scatter ashes almost anywhere, not quite, but pretty much. And here at Circle, we thought, this is our spiritual home. We're a church, we're a nature preserve. There are ashes that are scattered. We need a cemetery. We need a place for people to bring their remains for burial, however it is that they wish to do that, but especially in a green way, a way that is fully consistent with our pagan views, our nature-based views. And in 2010, Selena, Dennis, and I embarked with the local units of government on a path to put in place a fully recognized, licensed, statutorily appropriate cemetery that was, at the conclusion of our work over the course of 8 months or a year or whatever it was that we spent some intense time working with local units of government, we did satisfy all the requirements. And so we became the first full green pagan cemetery in the country, as far as we know. And we've been celebrating that aspect of ourselves ever since, I guess. That's been an extraordinary thing. And people, I think people understand that. They've come to us to learn how it's done. What can you do elsewhere? And how do we spread this to different parts of the country and what have you? And I think that the Green Initiative for Burials is an extraordinary thing. And so we're blessed and honored to have such a place here for folks. Yeah.
Thank you, Chip. And I've gotten a microphone. I'm going to invite my husband, Dennis Carpenter, to come over. I will see, is the mic working for people in the room? Yes, we have. Testing. Is this coming through? No. Well, we will. Is it now? Okay, great. So, a person that's been helping with our green cemetery all these years is my husband and partner, Dennis Carpenter.
Hello, everybody out there, and hello, everybody in here. So what would you like me to talk about?
Well, what is a green burial?
You dig a hole and put the body in the ground. Uninvolved body in a biodegradable container, that sort of thing. And It's a lot of work.
So how have you helped with the cemetery? You've helped with paperwork, but you also have actually done some grave digging.
The last full body burial we did here, we dug it at a work day. So I got out there with a shovel and a few of us, and we dug it. It was, like I said, a lot of work.
Well, thank you very much. And one of the things that we have had as part of Circle Sanctuary since its earliest days is music. And we began with a songbook, Circle Magic Songs. We still have it in print. And it's a collection of some songs and some chants that my partner at the time, Jim Allen, and I created. Some he created, some I created. And I'd like to sing one of those chants as part of our way of celebrating the musical roots of Circle Sanctuary since its early days. Some people call it Circle Round the Fire. The original name is Witch's Song. Circle round the fire to raise the cone of power to bring what we desire, oh so mote it be. Weave magic by the moonlight, dance the circle night long. Weave magic by the moonlight, dance and sing the witch's song. So we released a songbook with chants and songs. This was back in the mid-1970s. This was before the internet was a thing, before social media. People ordered this by postal mail. The word traveled around, and many people were very private about their involvement with any type of Wicca, Druidism, heathenry, paganism. And some people continue to be selective in sharing that identity because there's still quite a bit of misunderstanding about nature spirituality as a whole, nature religions in general. But I'm happy to report that over the years, more people are being more public about their connection with old ways in new ways. And pagan music is alive and well, it's diversified. There's many different things that now are options for you to listen on streaming services. And yes, we even have a podcast. It is called Songs of the Pagan Tribe. And one of our ministers and chaplain, one of our chaplains, Kern, I'm going to invite him to come up here. And we have a mic stand. We're going to do a little tech rearranging here. And he's going to share some music. And one of the great things about music, it can really bring people together. And I will put this over here. And I'll move this around so we can have a better view. Last year, one of the things that Circle Sanctuary has been involved with since 1993 is the Parliament of the World's Religions. We were at the Centennial Rebirth, and we were able to do ceremonies and share some music, and Kern was one of those who shared some music in our ceremony for planet Earth.
Well, thank you, Selena. I'm going to sing a song that's called Magic Planet. And it's okay. Very good.
Okay.
It came to me when I was studying the history of Wicca and thinking about, these last 50 years of Circle and all that. And so, plus I was thinking about the song American Pie, and it didn't come out to be Pagan Pie, but just called Magic Planet. It goes like this. Old Gerald cracked the whip and he revealed the way. And young man Alex was king for a day. Now the moon shines bright and we're on our way. The news ran it. They tried to ban it. The news ran it. Then Daffo decided she would leave the scene. And the goddess got in charge out of Lady Doreen. Cause she didn't find Mr. Crowley so keen. The news ran it. The settlers came. The news ran it. It's a magic planet. So across the pond, Uncle Bucky flew, and Gwen took the reed and made Pagan stew. And later we were charmed by witches on the tube. The news ran, the settlers camped. The news ran. Then the Starhawk led a spiral dance and we had fun. Susanna started Woman's Coven #1. But then eclectics claimed the craft for everyone. The news ran it. The critics panicked. The news ran it. It's a magic planet. Scott and Silver made it simple as 1, 2, 3. Margot and Ronald wrote the history. Now we know where we've been, where we wanna be. The news ran it. The news ran it. Oh, Selena and Sybil, Monique and Margot helped to get us all a bunch of extra mojo. Lori Cabot still wearing basic black. Oh, the news ran. They tried to ban it. The news ran. It's a magic planet. They thought the old religion wasn't gonna last such a long time. But it's new with every spell that's cast. It lives on down the line. Burning Charlie gave us all a marching song. Marion led us through the mist of Avalon. Pagan pride showed us how to stand up strong. The news ran. They tried to ban it. The news ran. Old Jerry cracked the whip and he revealed the way. And young man Alex was king for a day. Now the future shines bright and we are here to stay. The news ran it. They tried to ban it. To understand it. It's a magic planet. Oh, magic planet. Magic planet.
Well, thank you, Kern. And if you like podcasts, there's a whole podcast that is part of Circle Sanctuary Network Podcast, which is our podcasting network, Songs of the Pagan Tribe. And we have some special music that's been selected. If you go to the Circle Sanctuary website and you look at the graphic for our 50th anniversary celebration, you will see some links to the special podcasts that include a sampling of music from various pagan bards who have been blessing us with music at our events, online and in person, over the last 50 years. Well, speaking of podcasts, I'm going to invite a spiritual sister right over here. We're going to have Laura Gonzalez, Circle Sanctuary Minister, Reverend Laura, who is actually managing our podcasting network, which not only serves people throughout the U.S., but around the world, multilingual.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hi, my name is Laura Gonzalez. I am very honored to be here. And like Selena said, to everybody here in the room and to everybody here online, we're very proud to be part of Circle Century, the 50th anniversary, and all the years that we've been working together. And very proud to have CSMP, the Circle Century Network podcast. We have a team of people whom are not just English speakers and members of Circle Century here in person, but we have collaborators like Cristian Ortiz from Mexico, Carolina Amor from Argentina, who lives in the United States, Monica Gobin from Argentina as well, and Patricia Finkler from Brazil. And those podcasts are Paganos del Mundo in Spanish and Portuguese. And we have, of course, all the podcasts in English, like Kern's Songs of the Pagan Tribe, Blue Marble with Charlotte Bear, Circle Talk with Deborah Rose, and Circle of Nature with Selena Fox. Did I forget anything? No? Oh, yeah, mine. Lunatic Mondays, that happens once a month, starting on January. Once a month. Hello, hello, hello. Richard, and everybody who's online, it's so good to see y'all. But Selena asked me to talk not only about podcasts, but about an anecdote or a moment here on Circle Century. And it's going to be a little bit long, so please bear with me, because I have to start with me meeting Selena. We have been corresponding for probably a year before we met in person. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm talking to her various numbers of staff members and people in the office. And now I know better that all the time I was literally emailing with Selena directly because there is no such thing as huge staff. There's a huge staff of volunteers, but there is not an office paid person or personal assistants like I thought she had. And then we are at Pagan Pride Chicago, and I see her for the first time. And I see her, and I walk towards her, and I turn around because I tend to get very nervous. I'm very anxious. I mask it really well, but I'm very anxious. And my friend Marty says, just go and say hi to Selena. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Well, okay, let me try. And then I try again, and then I turn around again, and I'm like, no, man, I can't do it. And then the third time that I'm like, okay, this time I'm gonna do it. And I'm getting closer to her, and she turns around and she goes, Laura Gonzalez! And I'm like, oh my God, she knows my name. She knows who I am. So that beautiful relationship flourished, and she invited me to be a speaker presenter on PSG 2015 because the theme was International Paganism, if I recall correctly. That's when my 15 minutes of fame became 5 because that was the year of the flood. And then I didn't have a chance to teach all my classes. Selena invited me very graciously to come to Circle for the first time on Samhain of 2015. So it's 9 years. And I came to Circle for the first time, 2015, Samhain, taught a class on Day of the Dead. It was beautiful. And then I was like, oh my God, the children here are great. The community at large is great. But the children, said who she don't have kids nor does like to work with kids. The children are beautiful. These children are now 20 years old, let me tell you. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, can you stop? But anyway, years go by, we keep working together, etc. I keep coming back for festivals and whatnot. And then I told Selena in 2017, you know what, we need to make this official. I want to become part of Circle. I really want to become part of Circle. So I enrolled in the minister's training program, believing that becoming a minister was the only way that you could become part of Circle. So I did go through the whole program, Whoops, it was by mistake. And here I am, very proudly being a minister of Circle Sanctuary and very proudly carrying CSMP, and very thrilled to be here on the 50th anniversary, especially because it's a hybrid. Most of you know I only live online, come to the real world once in a while. So thank you, Selena, for dreaming this dream 50 years ago. Where's she going? She's walking away. Thank you for dreaming this dream 50 years ago, and thank you for doing everything you do. And happy birthday to Circle, and happy birthday to you, Selena.
Great, and it's been wonderful to have you anchor one of our ministries, which is podcasting. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, we've mentioned a ministry training program, and we've been talking music. Well, someone who does some music ministry, enchantments, as well as ministry training is River Higginbotham, and I invite him to share some perspectives.
Thank you very much, Selena. I'm glad to be here at Circle and celebrating the 50th anniversary, and happy birthday, Selena. It's your 75th. This is a joyous part of my life to be part of this community. And singing is part of it, and being part of the ministry training process that Laura kind of backed her way into. She and I were students at the same time for a while. I knew why I was there. And I was there because I've been part of Pagan community for many years, not just in Circle, but it had occurred to me that Circle Sanctuary was aligned with my values. It's an important part of the Pagan tapestry that in the United States and even internationally. And Selena's work through the years, like starting in the 90s, has influenced my life in very positive ways. I wouldn't be here as a pagan if it wasn't for Selena and her friends and her family and her coven and her community creating PSG, because PSG, Pagan Spirit Gathering, the summer solstice celebration here in North America, radically influenced my life and helped me find my feet on a pagan path. And with all of that as part of my personal history, when it came to looking around at around 2012 was important for me. In 2012, I was at a Pagan Spirit Gathering, and some friends of mine decided that we were just going to get together and sing. And we created what was essentially that night an epic fire circle singing extravaganza. And Margot Adler was present, my friends Jasmine and Ambika and Cray Rose and Lucinda, and many, many others. And that night, we sang together for about 3 hours around a fire. About all I ever did was just stoke the fire and watch the people and sing the songs and support the process. And that's really kind of indicative of what I do. Sometimes I'm in the front of things, and sometimes in the back, stoking the process and trying to make sure that excellent experiences and rituals and songs and chants and community emerge and offer the opportunities for many, many hundreds of people to be involved in that. That night at PSG in 2012, we didn't mean to do it, but some of us came back and said, we're going to do this again next year, and we're going to do it better. And so we did, and we called it Chant Camp. And then the following year, the Circle invited us to just be one of the centers related to chanting at PSG. And so from that point forward, we called it Enchantment. And we have continued to offer enchantment style, chant sharing, rituals, sessions, whatever you want to call it. Mostly it's an experience. It's an experience of voice and breath and connecting together. And we allow people to learn chants. We facilitate them learning chants. We facilitate them breathing together and singing together and sharing chants that they've written or sharing chants that they love. And the chanting part of my pagan experience has been super important to me. And there's like 3 or 4 people who are core cohort and instigators with me about chanting. Jasmine being the principal one, and Vika being another strong part of the chanting world of mine. And we bring that chanting to events, we bring the chanting to rituals. We find that that's a particularly powerful way to weave community. And that's one of the reasons why we do it. Now, Selena mentioned when she was introducing me about chanting, but also about ministry. And when I became part of the Circle Sanctuary ministry training program as a student of that program, one of the things that I felt was important was that for Circle to persist in doing all of the things that it does, that it would be very important that there be more and more people given the opportunity to come forward and be part of Circle, be part of the cadre of ministers who volunteer to help Circle. Laura's one such person, and more of the Circle activity happens online, and a lot of that's virtual, or it's Lady Liberty League, or it's many other forms of ministry. And all of those forms need people to pick up the mantle of the responsibility and carry those things into the future. So the ministry training program itself is where I dedicate most of my time for Circle, to help foster that pipeline of new people to come through, to discover if Circle is something that they really are committed to, or something that, it's really a fire in them to be part of Circle and be part of Circle's continuation into the future. Some people have come to us when they're older. They've had a great career or a life of paganism and they want to give back, and others are younger and just inspired and want to be part of the experience and part of the journey forward. And so those are the reasons why I'm excited about Circle Sanctuary and the ministry training program, part of which that I participate in. And I'm very grateful for all of the people who help me do that. We have a team, and our team is definitely all volunteer, all hardworking. We are spiraling into the better every moment that we are involved in the program. And I'm really glad that we're here to be part of the Circle Sanctuary 50th anniversary. And Selena, you as our lead minister and lead of the training program, we thank you for every bit of leadership and inspiration you give us. And we are doing our best to follow forward and continue the legacy.
Thank you, River. And before you go, I invite those who might want to come up and do a chant with us. There is a song that Rick Hamoris created. We are a circle within a circle. And I'm wondering if some of our chant singers will come up and stand behind us and join. Come on, Jasmine, who's one of our good chanters. And we are moving some things around. Anyone else want to come and chant with us? And let's see if we can get everybody into the frame. Come on over.
You could use another person.
Yay. Here we go.
All right.
Are we good? Yay. Here comes some more chanters. So the words are simple. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending.
We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle.
Invite everybody in the room and online. Join us.
Circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning
Blessed be the circle. Thank you. Well, as you can tell, there's a certain amount of spontaneous improvisation happening here. And before I turn this over to our next speaker, I'm going to put what I call the open mic invite to those who are in the room joining us. If you have a perspective about Circle, why you think Circle's important, or something about how you connected with Circle and how it's helped you, and you'd be willing to share for, something briefly, I invite you to come up and take a seat in these empty chairs in the front row, and then that will let me know who else might want to be part of this process. I'm going to see if I have any takers. Some I've talked with you ahead of time and you were thinking about it. So do we have any takers? We'll look at this. Well, be thinking about it. We've got plenty of stories, or I might just go wandering around the room with the mic.
Oh, good gravy.
So one of the things that Circle Sanctuary is known for is Pagan Spirit Gathering. In 1980, we helped birth a new kind of festival. A festival that was not only celebrating the wheel of the year, in this case, summer solstice, but a festival that created a pagan village, pagan community, living in harmony with the natural world and with each other. When I started Pagan Spirit Gathering back in 1980, it was a summer solstice weekend, and in 1981, it got its name, Pagan Spirit Gathering. And then in the early 2000s, I turned over leadership, the managing of Pagan Spirit Gathering, to Reverend Sharon Stewart, also known as Moonfeather. And more recently, the leadership of Pagan Spirit Gathering has gone to another Circle Sanctuary minister, Reverend Messina. And I invite you all to welcome her as she lets us know a bit about PSG, as it's also known.
Hi, everybody. My name is Messina, and I use they, them pronouns, but I'm here to talk about PSG. So, as Selena said, PSG started in 1980 as a pagan solstice weekend. Shortly thereafter, PSG added a gigantic circus tent, similar to the one that we have outside in the green. But they called it Tent Hedge. That's what they called that's what they called it. And inside the circus tent, that's where they did all the workshops. That's where they communed together as a community. And it was just a centralized gathering place for everyone there. And over the years, PSG has evolved, as everything does, right? And we've moved places. But you're okay with me doing the big announcement, right? Yeah, thanks. So we have good news for this next year. For our 45th anniversary, PSG will be moving back to Wisconsin to a campground located in White Lake, Wisconsin. It's about an hour northwest of Green Bay, and it's a beautiful site full of trees, and Selena was mentioning forest bathing earlier today, and I was like, oh, it's perfect. It's a perfect place for that. And, PSG is really all about the community and the village, as Selena said, and that's really what drew me to it. In 2003, when I attended PSG for the first time, I was in awe of how the people and the community come together to build this sacred space. And I am just so happy to be part of PSG and to help facilitate it for others to come to. I really look at it as a safe space for pagans. And yeah, I'm just blessed to be part of the team and to keep PSG going for many, many, many years to come. There's a conference going on in the corner. I'm giving it back to Selena.
Well, thank you. And it's been an amazing journey. My undergraduate and graduate major was in social psychology. And in a way, I kind of look at Pagan Spirit Gathering as a kind of ongoing social psychology experiment. Can we really walk our talk, and can we really live our principles, not only with the convergence of diversity that comes together, but in a natural setting where we definitely are experiencing a lot of the elements. And it is important to have experiences where we can find good ways to connect with each other in the natural world and have something that we experience ancestrally. We are all hereditary pagans, depending on how you define that term. If you go back far enough in your ancestral heritage, you were descended from people who worked with the rhythms of nature, the cycles of the moon, worked with nature in sacred ways. Circle Sanctuary has done many things over the last 50 years, and we continue to evolve our ministries. We're very involved in the quest for equal rights, not only for pagans, but all nature wisdom traditions. Another important thing that we do is interreligious work. We seek to build bridges of understanding and connection and collaboration across different faith traditions, spiritualities, and philosophies. Some of those journeys have really helped us contribute to the larger quest for liberty and justice for all. So I invite another Circle Sanctuary minister to come up, Reverend Eldridge, who's going to talk a bit about some of our work with supporting LGBTQ people, rainbow magic.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Eldridge. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and I live in Washington, D.C., in the area there. I've been there about 40 years. One of the things that I've seen from Selena as she would come out to the East Coast, she would always talk about social justice and the importance of pagans to claim religious freedom, but also the freedom in our lives to be who we are. And that was so important because I came from a time and a generation where it was not okay to be gay. And one of the things that Circle Sanctuary has always done is offered a welcome, offered an open space for people to explore themselves, to be able to express themselves, and to be their own authentic self. And it's hard for people to imagine how important that is. And one of the things that we've seen, I guess, there's always, through Pagan Spirit Gathering, there's the Rainbow Camp. There's always a place for people to be. And over time, in 2013, I do a lot of interfaith work. And there was a group in Washington, D.C. that was coming together around marriage equality. And we were having an interfaith service, and people in that area turned to me about, well, we need to have pagans involved and represented among the myriad of different faith traditions that were represented there. I called Selena and said, Selena, would you come to D.C. and help represent pagans in this interfaith service that was held on the morning of the SCOTUS trials for marriage equality? So Selena came out, and we had pagans drumming at 7 a.m. in the morning, which meant that we got up at 5 to get there at 6 to be able to set up. And it was amazing to have circle ministers and other other local pagans call the quarters, cast a circle, and to offer that as part of just another expression of religion, normal as it should be. And there was a chance a planned time for people to stand up if you were same-sex couples. And then we had 4 different blessings from 4 different traditions. And Selena represented the pagan community. And Selena had a hand fasting cord that I believe Messina and Minerva had as their hand fasting cord. And she, in her own Selena style, she talked about tying the knot. And everybody, talks about tying the knot, but didn't know where that came from. And you explained that. You did not walk, you ran down the aisle barefoot, back and forth. We tie the knot, we tie the knot, we tie the knot. And it was so joyful that you could see pagans representing themselves as we are and to be part of a true social justice movement. And that's a hallmark of Circle Sanctuary, to be a part of social justice and to not only be in the world, but to transform the world.
Well, thank you, Eldridge. And yes, I've been on that quest for equal rights since earliest times in my life. The College of William and Mary, where I did my undergraduate work, I helped birth an organization. Back then, it was Gay Liberation. That was 1969. And some people have children, human children. I have institutions. And I'm happy to report that 2 college communities that I started at the College of William and Mary in Virginia back before I graduated in 1971 are alive and well. The Classics Club, which celebrates ancient Greek and ancient Latin and cultures, and what's now known as the Lambda Alliance. And Circle Sanctuary continues to be an ally and a support for efforts to have full equality for people from across different traditions and identities. So I'd like to invite a longtime Circle Sanctuary community member and a great bagpiper, Dave Linton, to come up and share some perspectives.
I wanted to talk about one of the things that Circle Sanctuary and the whole Circle network is noted for is networking, getting our word out to the entire world, doing large things, being parts of large activities. But we have a whole lot of influence in so many small things. Sylvia and I had the great privilege in 2009 of being delegates representing Circle Sanctuary at the Parliament of the World's Religions down in Melbourne, Australia. A great time, by the way, if you ever get a chance. It's a cool thing. It's not like some big activity where they vote out some resolutions in some kind of plenary sessions, but rather they're fostering meetings between people of all different faiths. And the only thing you have to agree to is to agree to be tolerant of people who are different than you. So Sylvia and I were sitting down at dinner one day, and it was a great time. You love meeting all these different people. And this couple from Australia, about our age, they were older folks, and we were talking, just sharing stories about our kids and all this sort of stuff. They were good, staunch Lutherans. The man was an engineer and talked about some projects that he worked on, and she was into a lot of social justice things. And then they talked about their kids, and then she said, "Oh, but I have a problem here. We have a major issue in our family. My daughter got married. She married a pagan." And so she was talking about how that was a conflict. And then after going into great depth about that, and said, "So, what are you two about?" I said, "We're pagans." The embarrassed silence was priceless. But we continued the conversation, and that was a key part. And so we corresponded some after that, and it was several months afterwards that we got this wonderful email from them with some pictures. Her daughter had given birth to the grandchild, and they had managed to get along together, and said, you know, these pagan folks are actually better than we thought, and and we made up with our kids, and yeah. So yeah, the big activities are important, but they lead to the really critical little things that we all do individually. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Circle Sanctuary came and emerged in 1974, but it had some things that helped with the inspiration. Part of it was what some people would call exploring consciousness. Some of it has to do with the social justice, the social change, the quest for racial equality, gender equality that were part of the 1960s. My undergraduate work was in psychology, and that's what I got my degree in. However, I was also very active in really working for a better world, that with more equality, liberty, and justice for all. I took great inspiration from Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and was involved in a lot of quests to really bring about equal rights for people from across the different backgrounds. That has been part of what helped with the birthing of Circle Sanctuary, as well as work for gender equality. And yes, I helped start a women's rights organization on campus called Women's Equality. And actually, the only time in my entire life that I have ever done a book burning was the William and Mary Woman Rulebook. And that was something all the women on campus had to not only read, but memorize and take a test on. Now, was there a William and Mary man? No rule book. But women had only been permitted at the college since the early 20th century. And the college started in 1693. Well, I can tell you I was part of a number of people, not only women, people of different gender identities that really worked for that equality. And I continue to be on that quest for equal rights for all. And one of the wonderful things that I have seen over the years in working with Circle Sanctuary as a religious institution is the growth of women leaders. The honoring of women's life passages, the honoring of reproductive choice. Yes, we're nonpartisan here. We have people with a lot of different viewpoints about it. But as with many other religions, what happens with conception is a religious matter. It's not only with the woman and doctor, but woman with divine. Government has no right to mess with my religion and my freedom. Get out of my womb, get out of other people's wombs. So I realize this is a divisive issue, but we need to have our bodily autonomy. And I invite you to be an educated voter and to get out and vote your choices. Well, you can tell I've got passion about that, but I also have passion about the environment because that's another important part of Circle Sanctuary. Earth Day, April 22nd, 1970. I was one of many people across the United States that responded to Gaylord Nelson's invitation to do teach-ins about the environment. And at the campus of William and Mary, we had a teach-in. We took a look at the Chesapeake Bay, and I'm happy to report that after that teach-in, things got in motion. Things are better in the Chesapeake now than they were back in 1970 when Earth Day started. And I encourage all of us to take a look at what's happening environmentally in our local area as well as around the world. We're going to close with a magic song that is brand new, that is from some bards that have performed at Pagan Spirit Gathering. We do monthly full moon circles. And Black Willow Starling, one or both of the duo, have been part of our full moon circles, and it seemed a good way to conclude our celebration of Circle Sanctuary's 50th by having something that's very woven into the environment. We need to find good ways to not only energize ourselves as we go about our lives by communing with nature, but we also need to help wake up humankind to take action. We have an expanded environmental ministry. We have a podcast, Blue Marble, and we're part of the Green Faith Circle, an international organization involved in eco-justice. So thank you, Reverend Charbert and Steve and Amy, for your work with Green Faith Circle. Reverend Andrew Bear, who Char and Andrew and Kern all help us with chaplaincy work as well. And as we conclude our celebration of Circle Sanctuary's 50th anniversary with this live stream, let us celebrate the green that surround us and within us, and let us find good ways to continue to preserve that. So without further ado, I'm going to show to you Black Willow Starling.
Thank you so much. I'm Nora, and this is Michael.
Hi, thanks so much for inviting us into your community and into your homes. If you're watching out there in Cyberland, we are so blessed and just really, it's just overwhelming, the support that the community not only gives to us, but to each other. And we appreciate each and every one of you.
And if you haven't come to Circle Sanctuary to experience the land and to experience the community, I encourage you to do so. The song is called Woodland Green.
Woodland green, take my hand and lead me down the rolling hill by the bending stream, across the narrow bridge, to the place my heart calls home. Little jewels on silken wings, the air's alive and the forest sings, from tender shoots to towering trees, calling out my name, to the damp earth woodland green.
And in that circle among the trees, the vision's clear, it's home to me, and all that grows and all I see is part of my heart and part of me.
Woodland green, take my hand and lead me down the rolling hill by the bending stream, across the narrow bridge, to the place my heart calls home.
Spirit there, so wild, so free, soothing something wild in me. The sweet enchantment, bird and sea, for fur and for feather, man and beast.
Woodland green, take my hand and lead me down the rolling hill by a bending stream, across a narrow bridge, to the place place my heart calls home. To the place my heart calls home. To the place my heart calls home.
Happy 50th Circle!
Well, thank you all who have joined us live, and thanks to all of you who have tuned in later through the miracles of cyberspace. I want to give thanks to everyone who has been part of Circle Sanctuary's journey over the years. Thank you for your support. You can find out more about us, circlesanctuary.org. And yes, we're on social media, Circle Sanctuary Community on Facebook, we're on Instagram. I also share some of my work with Circle Sanctuary on my Selena Fox Updates Facebook page and my Selena Fox on Instagram page. And yes, Circle Sanctuary has a YouTube channel, as you all have connected. Like us, subscribe. Take a look at all the various things we have available there. I also do some YouTube work, and let us all continue to find good ways to connect. So to all of you in the Northern Hemisphere, blessed Samhain. To all of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, blessed Beltane. And to all of you, wherever you may be, many blessings. Thank you for tuning in.